Hello and welcome to the Fundamentals display case here in the main hallway of the Peoria Riverfront Museum. My name is Zach Zetterberg and I'm the curator of art here. We've put together a display case of several items from our permanent collection, one of those items being the crazy quilt that you see behind me, and there are several minerals on display, and we are examining these objects together and looking at color and composition, both of which are fundamentals of art. Please take a moment with me as we closely examine the crazy quilt, and I will introduce you to some interesting facts about the quilt itself. Crazy quilting became vogue in the last quarter of the 19th century among women of the upper class who had the time and money to undertake extravagant quilt projects that were fashioned out of expensive materials such as satin, velvet, and silk. Crazy quilts are referred to as crazy because of their irregular composition and lack of pattern, which was not a typical traditional quilting characteristic. But upon closer inspection, one can find unbelievable details that have been very well thought out and not crazy at all. Most of these designs are executed using embroidery, a term that is used when decorating with the use of needle and thread. Let's take a closer look and examine some of the exciting embroidery details that can be found in this crazy quilt. One of the most exciting details that I have found in this quilt is this spider in the center of a small web. The embroidery used to piece this quilt together is much like that of a spider that spins a single silk thread to build an elaborate web. Experts say that the real beauty of a crazy quilt is found in its ornate embroidery. The embroidery in this quilt has an unbelievable amount of variety. I encourage you to take some time to follow the complex system of the lines that were created to piece this quilt together. This quilt is attributed to an unknown maker from the Pontiac, Illinois area. This scrap of printed fabric, which is included in the design, suggests so, and also gives an indication of the date it was made, around 1888. This wonderful arrangement of flowers was also constructed by hand and gives the quilt an added sculptural quality and unique texture. Motifs like this one complement the patterns found in the repurposed fabric very well. There are many small treasures hidden and waiting to be found. See what else you can find. Thank you for taking some time with me to learn more about this extraordinary crazy quilt. And we're excited to tell you that in January of 2021, the museum will be hosting the quilt collection of famous documentarian Ken Burns, which was sponsored generously by Sid and Flo Banward. Now here's Curator of Science Renee Kerrigan to share some interesting facts about the minerals on display.
Take a look at this mineral. This large purple mineral in the center of our case is fluorite. And if you look closely, you'll notice that you can see a lot of cube structures in the fluorites, like lots of squares jumbled up on top of one another. If you look at a mineral nearby, quartz, you'll notice that it's also purple and their colors are very similar. But look at the shapes and you'll notice that the quartz shapes are more like pyramids. This is one of the most fascinating things about minerals to me, is the way the atoms are arranged in the minerals actually results in different shapes that the minerals will grow in if they are unimpeded. You can tell purple fluorite apart from purple quartz just by looking at the shapes that the minerals make. Both fluorite and quartz are colorless when they are pure, but little impurities, little additions of iron in quartz will turn it purple. Trace impurities in fluorite will turn it purple, or many colors. Another really great example of how minerals look different or appear different colors with different trace impurities in them are these two minerals, azurite and malachite. Both azurite and malachite are copper carbonate minerals, and they have almost exactly the same chemical formula. But as you can see, one is this beautiful green color, malachite, and azurite is this beautiful blue color. You can find minerals where it has azurite and malachite together often. We have some of that in our own collection. And that's because azurite can transform into malachite if it just gets one extra carbonate ion. So those two minerals are often found together. Both of those minerals were also used to create dyes in ancient times. If you take a look at that fluorite mineral again, you can see that those cube shapes are mimicked in the crazy quilt. If you look above you in the very center of the crazy quilt, there's a beautiful purple square with flowers embroidered on it. And that inspired me to look for purple fluorite since I knew it always grew in the cube shapes. The other minerals selected in this case are minerals that would have at one time been used to create dyes. Now, most dyes are made using synthetic materials because they're more color fast, but long ago, we actually would grind up minerals like aragonite to make white dye or cinnabar to make red dye. We hope you've enjoyed taking a closer look at this case, which we've created to take a deeper look at our permanent collection, pairing a crazy quilt with our vast collection of minerals. Thank you, museum members and Visionary Society members, for supporting this virtual Peoria Riverfront Museum content. We hope to see you here at the museum soon.